Alright everybody, welcome back to UltraChenTV. I've been analyzing some matches from the latest Patreon supporter, Ange, who sent me 3 videos to analyze. So I'm going to do the 3rd video over here. Again, this series of videos called The Mind's Eye is where I take user-submitted videos and I analyze them and I try my best to try to help improve your play, point out things that you need to work on, etc. And last week we had an example of a great beginner match from Sai. This week I have Ange here. It's a nice, very solid match actually. Great intermediate player. So I will take any skill level, all sorts of things. Even if it's something like you see a Daigo versus Infiltration match that you really want to analyze. You could also do that as well. You could send that over to me as well as your choice. I prefer doing your own matches because I want to help people as much as I can grow as a fighting game player. And guys like Sajam, for example, will analyze high-level matches on his stream a lot of the time. So all you have to do is just really give him suggestions. But for stuff like this, for viewer-submitted stuff, yeah. By all means, if you want to support our Patreon, you can find that at patreon.com/UltraChenTV. And you can submit videos. Doesn't even have to be Street Fighter 5. It can be anything, though your mileage may vary. Because if you send me Smash videos, I will do my best to analyze it. But I obviously do not know Smash as well as I know Street Fighter. If you send me Tekken, I will call Tasty Steve to come here and help me do that and stuff. So, any game that you want, again, if you support us, you can see it at patreon.com/UltraChenTV. And also, if you just like what we're doing, if you like all the content that I've been creating recently, I've been doing all sorts of series of stuff. I've been doing the Learn to Fight series, The Mind's Eye. I only did 1 FGC story time, but I plan to do more. I've been doing Guilty Gear lobbies. I've been doing live DHCs and such. So if you like the content and want to support me, you can also and support UltraChenTV. You can check the link out there right over there. Donations, ultrachentv.com/donate. There's also a PayPal link at the bottom if you want to support specifically me. And I appreciate that as well. You can also donate to streamlabs.com/jchensor. Those donations will go directly to me as opposed to the team. But the team, obviously, we're all in this together. So definitely either way is great. We all appreciate any support that we can get. Peter asks, any casual stream this weekend? I'll probably stream some more like Metal Gear, or maybe even me trying to kill the Bell Demons in Dark Souls. God. But we'll see. We'll see what happens. In any case, thank you guys for helping. Thank you guys for watching. Hope you guys are enjoying this. But let's move on. It's going to be the 3rd match. It's the final match for Ange. And it is going to be against Murky Water, Murky H2O, a Zangief player. So let's go through this. All right, so Ange once again using Ryu. God, that outfit is so amazing. Now it's going to be a little bit of pause at the beginning. Oh, wait, sorry. Also going to go back a little bit, and everybody wants to watch the matches straight through one time first before I start analyzing, so I'm going to do that right now. It's going to be a little pause at the beginning because Ange is going to turn on inputs, but then let's watch the match from beginning to end real quick.
Round 1. Fight.
Inputs on. There we go. All right. Okay, so Murky. Wow. Okay, look at this. Headbutt. Just this kid. Oh, wow. He went through the fireball and hit Ryu at the same time. Oh, okay. Crush counter on that Stand Fierce. Looks like Ange really wants to play a zoning game there, but nice jump in, but not sure what that follow-up from Murky was, and he's going to get thrown as a punish for it. Oh, trade, and that trade is going to be so much in Zangief's favor, and catches him with the knee into the SPD. What's the follow-up? That was, oh, okay. It's just EX uppercut right in that situation. It worked out for him. Oh, that was too far. That was too far. Oh, my God. Yeah, okay, there it is. So Murky H2O just going to take it with a nice little sequence right there. Pretty much all went his way. Had all the right reads in that situation. Here we go. Ooh, trying to headbutt it, but that time was an EX fireball. Ange is going in, but oh God, yeah, you got to be careful of that armor. Got crush countered, and that is going to give Murky H2O a chance. Another wake up EX. Woo, meaty. Just meaty fireball right in there. Okay. Looks like Ange trying to play a little bit more defense. Tries to back off. Throws those fireballs. Yeah, baiting out the headbutts. Staggering the timing of the fireballs. Well, that's got to be punished. Oh, again, that was too far. Oh, the same mix-up. Oh, that was just unfortunate. Got sucked in by the tail of that, and boom, into trees time. And there it is. Murky H2O gonna take this and advance forward. Ouch. Okay. Yeah, I'm analyzing only one player's matches right now. It's just Ange so far. So all 3 matches have been his Ryu.
This is the path of my destiny.
Oogie asks, I'm jumping into fighting games now, but do want to play a good game. How good is Street Fighter V? Street Fighter V is very good. If you're willing to go online and play and really play hard, Street Fighter V is a fun game. It's missing a lot of one-player content. A lot of things are missing from it, but Capcom has promised that it's a game, like it's a service platform. So they promise, more stuff to keep coming as it goes. So the one thing about Street Fighter V is that you are going to find the most online competition, and it is one of the simpler games to get into. So if you are brand new to fighting games, Street Fighter V is a very, very good game to start with. Yes, it is. It is. So Chaos Cross Sora asks, hey, UltraChen, what if we can't actually subscribe? You're not going to help that kind of people, right? Well, okay. So one thing is subscription is not where people are sending in stuff. It's through the Patreon specifically. And unfortunately, the Patreon is set to a higher bar right now than the subscription is. So if you can't afford to do Patreon right now, the reason why I've gone through this route of Patreon is mostly for, one, is to help myself, because obviously I need some source of income being a full-time streamer now. And then secondly, because if it was a free situation, I would basically get inundated with requests and I would not be able to get through all of them, and I wouldn't know how to prioritize one over the other. So this makes it a little bit easier on the load, on the workload for me, and also helps support me as well, and gives people, motivation to support. And actually, oh, thanks you, Venushka, for the subscription. Really appreciate that. But yeah, we'll also, it benefits me because it helps, and you get something for supporting us. So you actually get, something out of it. So it doesn't feel like you're just supporting us for nothing, but you're supporting us and you get something cool out of it. So I do apologize. That's the way it's going to start. That's the way it's going to be for a while, that it's only going to be through Patreon. Okay, let's keep going with this match here. Chicken Little, when CPT starts, will you keep streaming like this? Yeah, I'll still try. I probably won't. I'll probably miss a lot more Mondays and Fridays, but I'll definitely will keep trying to stream as much as I can. So, anyways, let's go to this Ange time versus Murky again. And again, between the 2 matches that we've already seen, there's definitely a lot of things that we've already picked up here. What I want to do with this particular match here, it's less that Ange did anything wrong here. It's more that this Zangief is really good, and he's been able to play the mix-up properly. It's really interesting because as I watch the Zangief play, the mix-ups that he goes to, I feel like a lot are the ones that I would have gone with as well, just because it feels like the right way to play psychologically. So I'm going to talk about this more from the Zangief point of view, and that way, as a player, you can see that sometimes it's not about what you're doing wrong, but about what the opponent is doing right. Because like I said, someone's going to be right in 50-50 situations. Someone's going to come out on top. And if the opponent comes out on top more often, that just means that they're reading you very well. It's not that they're winning the coin flip that many times, it's they're actually reading you really, really well. So, oh shoot, thank you to Fugu. Wow, thank you for the generous bits donation right there. Thank you very much, thank you. And his message was, thanks for looking after newbies. It got cut off there on the screen, but thank you very much. Appreciate it, and I will fix the layout on that to make sure that it's larger so you can see more of that. Anyways, let's keep going here. My iron body is invincible.
Round one.
Alright, so round one, we're gonna start here. This is a funny start because they just do that fireball headbutt thing. Headbutt, headbutt, headbutt. And then missed it this time, and this time he gets through it, and it hits Ryu's hands, dude. Okay, that's fine. That's just kind of an interesting start, just to establish what's going on, see what your opponent is willing to do, and he's willing to headbutt a lot. So he gets hit here, and now Ange is like, all right, gotta get the hell out of here. So backs over, and tries to whiff punish that headbutt with the crouch medium kick out of range. Zangief is tough to fight, okay? Because honestly, if Zangief is standing at this range in front of you, like let's say I'm right here and Zangief is here, because of Zangief standing fierce, right? It's really scary to get into this close range over here. And plus he has the SPD at that range. So Zangief kind of really wins well here, and it's scary to walk up and try to like poke him with some of your stubby buttons. So he changes the matchup a little bit, and that's why you see things like Ange, you know, whiffing that crouching medium kick right there. The arrows are not working anymore. The arrows are not what they seem. See, that's why you're gonna end up missing those like that. So. And that crouch light punch is super good. So this range right here is where a lot of people stand against Zangief because it's scary to go in on him. However, if you know how to fight Zangief, sometimes it's better to pressure Zangief. But at the beginning, it's good to kind of see what the Zangief is capable of here. Hey, don't say that, Roarsalt. Arc Fighters are awesome. Awesome games. Awesome games. Anyways, he goes in there and hits Standing Fierce. And I really like that button choice. That Standing Fierce, the first time I saw this, I was like, what a great Standing Fierce. Like, he's established that distance, and then you know what? You know what? F your distance. I'm going to walk in and hit Standing Fierce, and he gets the crush counter. And I really like that. I really like that aggression and that kind of confidence. That kind of sends a message to the Zangief player that, yes, I'm willing to hit big buttons too. And when you establish that, now you have to worry about Zangief pulling Fierces, the armor through it, and using V-skill and such like that. But it's something good to establish early on, because now you're going to make the Zangief stagger a little bit more instead of walk you as much. Okay, so back to this fireball game. So I like that he's playing this. Even though he had headbutted so many of the fireballs, it hasn't discouraged Ange from keeping on doing that. So that's good. That's really good. But now he jumped over one fireball. Okay, too many fireballs. He gets one over a fireball here, and this is where Zangief happens, basically. And this is why Japan thinks Zangief is really good, because they think that he has a real vortex. I don't agree with it. I just feel like Itazan is just stupidly good. But Zangief can be dangerous, obviously, once he gets you an SPD. So let's see what happens here. So, oh, that's right. He messes up here, and he gets jabbed out of the air, and then a beautiful throw. Beautiful throw there from Ange, because you just can't be scared of Zangief. Zangief's defense on Wake Up is just as bad as everybody else, and if not worse. In a lot of old games, EX SPDs could be problems and such, but he doesn't have that option here. Only Wake Up Super would work. So it's definitely a good idea. Meaty throws like this are actually pretty effective against Zangief. So right when he lands, throwing him is actually a really effective tool. And I like that Ange is being aggressive here, that he's not backing down from the Geef. Okay, Meaty low forward again, not getting much out of there. And again, being at that distance to Meaty Zangief. So here, look, so you have this tendency to be fearful of Zangief and going up too close. So he Meaties from here. And again, the fireball's not going to connect. You're not going to get much. I would like to see standing medium punches or crouching medium punches as meaties instead, because you could probably get a little bit better there. And yeah, Showbiz is right. Everybody's Wake Up is bad in Street Fighter V, except guys with EX uppercuts and stuff. So yeah, setups off of HP SPD are super scary. Okay. Oh, okay. Trade. Just an unfortunate trade. Ange was going a little fireball happy again. And good on the Zangief to release. Well, actually, he had just charged the whole thing up. And a great trade for him. Ange probably should have been paying more attention to Zangief and reacted to the Fierce to not throw the fireball. But happens. So you throw the fireball and you're like, whoops, I didn't think that that was the thing that can happen. So you get knocked down. Here comes Zangief. He jumps over the sweep. And so this is one of those situations where if you could block, you probably could have uppercut. Now that's 98% true in Street Fighter V. Now with jump attacks that hit low enough, they'll actually beat the uppercut. But the uppercut could have worked in this situation. So it's hard to train yourself to do that, to uppercut instead of block. I see it happen even in the highest, strongest players as well. A lot of times you're just like, oh crap, please block. And you block. But you could have uppercutted. But that's all I'm going to say about that. And in fact, it missed. It didn't even hit him. Oh, he just missed. And then he went into an immediate knee. I'm not sure what he was doing there, but he gets hit. And so now in this kind of situation, the good read from Zangief was that he caught him with a knee out of nowhere. And now it's like, oh, now he got hit by the knee out of nowhere. And when people go into panic mode, there's one of two things. They're going to hit buttons or they're going to be scared and block. And in this kind of situation, it was such a frightening situation that I can imagine the opponent blocking. And that's the read that the Zangief had. So he went for that and caught him. And that's because the knee just hit out of nowhere. It was really kind of off out of nowhere. And so the general reaction from people is, yeah, they're just going to block. So good stuff on the Zangief to get this SPD. And he gets the Fierce SPD. Oh, actually, was that the light SPD? Yeah, I think that was the light SPD. Yes, it was, because I can see the blue button over there on the side. And then he dashes up and Hail Mary EX uppercut from Ange, but you know what? That's good. I mean, you got to try it one time. Yeah, you might lose the round because you did that, but you got to establish that that's something that you're willing to do, especially against Zangief. You have to establish that, because if you never wake up EX uppercut because it could be crush countered and you can die, then the Zangief is always going to go meaty on you. So I like that he established that early here, and it worked. It worked. So you know what? Rock on, Ange. Like, that's good. That's fine. And he backs off a little bit. And now he's not throwing any fireballs because he did jump over one of them. But see, not letting it discourage him. Good stuff. Like I said, I really honestly like the way that Ange is playing here. I really don't have any sort of like critiques or really strong complaints about the way he's playing. Okay, now when you activate that V trigger, it's very clear that Zangief is very far. And this is probably my first critique here in this match. And I don't know if Ange was expecting to hit a button, but because of that freeze in the air, that also means that the Geef had time to process the distance well. So he's gonna see this pause and he's gonna see this distance, and now the Geef is probably thinking, I should not hit a button because if he uppercuts right now, he'll hit me. So I'm just gonna empty jump right now. And that's exactly what he does, and Ange goes for the uppercut. And that's a problem right there. So Ange, in that situation, again, it's not necessarily about understanding what you're thinking. It's understanding what they're thinking. As the Ryu player, as soon as I see that pause, my first thought is not he's in the air, I should uppercut him. My first thought is that's a weird distance. If I were Zangief, I'd be scared to touch a button because I have time to process this. So in other words, he's probably going to empty jump. So instead, I'm going to either meet him with a button on the ground, or if I really have some balls, I'm just going to walk up and throw him right now, right? And that's how I would have processed this situation. But again, your goal is always to look at the opponent and try to figure out what they're reading, figure out what they're thinking. Would HP DP have hit him there? Maybe. Still too risky. I would have felt like it would have been too risky. And you see the timing that he did it too. I just don't even think there was the opportunity for it. Okay, so this is what was good about this situation. So I wanted to talk about the Zangief. So Zangief last time did knee into SPD, right? And so I mentioned that, you know, once you put the opponent into that kind of a key moment, like I said, to once again trademark OS Ryan Hunter, once you get them into a key moment, you want to keep weaving a different narrative. Last time he did knee into SPD. So this time the Zangief is really smart in that he gets the crush counter, the knee, and instead of going for the SPD, he goes for a meaty. Now this was a different situation, obviously, because he reset him out of the air. But he could have went for the SPD again, but this time he was like, last time I went for the SPD, so this time I'm going to go for the meaty. And he does, and you can see he gets a counter hit. The Ange tried something. So if you're the Ryu player, you have to start thinking like the Zangief. Like last time he did knee into SPD, so this time maybe he'll change it up. And you have to judge your opponent in that situation. If you're playing an opponent and they're bronze or something like that, or you can see them kind of spamming things early on, then maybe you think, yeah, they're habitually going to go for the next SPD. Nothing in this match so far has told me that this Zangief player is a spaz. Like, he already looks like he knows what he's doing. He seems pretty strong. So, you know, now it's a 50-50 guess. But there's a reason why you want to guess that he's going to go meaty, because last time he SPD'd you. So this time, you know what? He's probably going to go for a button. Like, that would be a logical thing in my mind. Now, keep this moment in mind over here. Yeah, OmniSlash says you can get conditioned to do certain things. Yeah, and that's Street Fighter right there. Like I said, then once you get to the point where both of you are really good at mixing it up, then it becomes kind of, like I said, one of you is going to be wrong, one of you is going to be right. You can't be mad when someone outguesses you, right? And you know, as much as anyone wants to not say it's guessing games, there are a lot of guessing games in fighting games. It's just the way it works. It's how fighting games work. Otherwise, no one would ever take damage, right? So in this situation, he actually got him here with the mix-up. Now, keep the situation in mind. If I'm the Zangief player, I would go, okay, I reset him with the knee, and I hit him with the meaty button, because last time I SVD'd, I switched to the button. You know what? Next time the situation comes up, I'm going to go with the button again, because I don't want to keep switching back and forth, because that feels too obvious. The next time, I'm just going to go with the button again. That's how I would read this situation. But see, you're already planning ahead. You're already thinking about it. And you can see that when I play my matches online. Like sometimes I'll do something and I'll try to throw them and they tech the throw. And you notice as soon as they tech the throw, I'm like, okay, next time I'm shimmying. I'm not even waiting till I get to that situation. I already know when that situation comes, what I'm going to try based on information that I gained already. And so if I was the Zangief player, I would already be thinking, okay, the next time this situation comes up, I'm going for a meaty button again. I'm just going to go for the meaty button again, because that's my read on this opponent. He's going to try to switch it up, but I'm going to go back to the same thing. That's what my read would have been. But again, that's a perfect example right there that you're already pre-planning ahead. You're already thinking so far ahead. Shout outs to Mr. Potato 9 for the subscription. Very much appreciated. So there you go. Well, okay. That was just a beautiful situation there. So he hits him with this. How? So now you're like, okay, the opponent is scared of this lariat combo. So instead of the lariat combo, I'm going to interrupt it, go with knee into SPD. That's just a great read. That's just a great read on the situation. And so as a Ryu player, you have to be ready for these kind of things. As a player versus a Zangief, you have to be ready for that. But what I want to really point out, though, is that, like, let's say I go back a bunch here. Let's watch this round here. Let's watch this round here. I'm going to watch this whole round here with no pauses. So, okay, headbutt through the fireball. Trying to poke him. Beautiful stand fierce. Got jump kick. Oops, a miss up. Great throw. Okay, kind of a bad meaty, but it's okay. Trade. Here comes Zangief. Oops, unfortunate situation. Oh, I got SPD'd. What happened? He comes up. Okay, I got the EX uppercut on him. Woohoo! And then I whipped an uppercut. And I lost that round. So the reason why I wanted to watch that round again is that honestly, the only mistake, in my opinion, that Ange made that whole round was that whiffed uppercut. That was the only true mistake. Outside of that, I felt like he was playing that fine. Even with taking damage here and there with a few wrong guesses, trading with a few fireballs and stuff like that. That whiff uppercut was really only the real mistake that he made. And this is one of those situations where even though it feels like you got bodied, that just happens sometimes, especially against Zangief. Sometimes he just gets you into these situations where he blows you up like this, right? We've seen Itazan do that all the time. So, oops, hang on a second, guys. Let me take care of that. Pow. Okay. So, the thing is, right, then he just got outplayed by the Zangief. So he made one mistake and he got outplayed by the Zangief. So in that kind of situation, you don't sit there and go, what did I do wrong? How could I have done better? That was just, that, hey, good round to the Zangief. Okay, let's move on to the next round and keep playing. I made one mistake. And so sometimes when you lose, remember how I said that there are such things as successful failures, right? I wouldn't call this a successful failure because that whiff uppercut is really what kind of did him in. But at the same time, you have to walk away from that round feeling like, okay, no, that actually wasn't a bad round. If it wasn't for that one whiff uppercut, I would still be in this and we were doing fine. So just don't beat yourself up on those kind of rounds. Like, if it's something that your opponent just outplays you, sometimes you just take it. But, you know, other than that, like, I felt like that was actually a decent round. I actually feel like that was a decent round. Okay. So let's go to round 2 now.
Round 2. Fight.
So starting with fireballs and headbutts right away, but he started with the EX fireball, so that knocked him down. And I like that Ange is being aggressive again. Like I said, Zangief's defense is no better than anybody else's anymore. Lariat's not a wake-up. Nothing is anti-throw. Nothing is throw invul. So go in on him. Yeah, and he gets him with the counter hit, and that's your standard combo there. Now again, standing medium punch can be confirmed. Practice your hit confirms, Ange. Go into training mode and practice stand medium punch into Tatsu, or stand medium punch, crouching fierce into uppercut or something. I don't know. No, stand medium punch is fine. It's safe. But stand medium punch Tatsu. Like, practice. Put the training mode on random block, and if they block the first stand medium punch, do stand medium punch fireball. If they get hit by stand medium punch, then do stand medium punch Tatsu. Base it on that first stand medium punch. Now, because of the nature of training mode, that random block, if they block the first stand medium punch, they might get hit by the second stand medium punch. Don't pay attention to that button. Only pay attention to the first stand medium punch. Practice that. Medium punch, fireball. Medium punch, spin kick. So, yeah, exactly, Showbiz. Stop worrying about previous... Dude, I've talked about this in fighting games. You have to have such selective memory when you play fighting games. If your memory is too strong and all you do is remember the things that you did wrong, that is how your opponent conditions you. You have to remember every time you do something right and every time the opponent does something wrong, or when the opponent does something right. But if you do something wrong and then you're scared to ever do that again, they are going to condition you. It's weird. It's weird to say worry about what they do right, but not what you do wrong. But that's true. You just have to forget things. Otherwise, you're going to be conditioned really, really well. So medium punch, Tatsu whiffs. Yes, that will happen on crouching characters. That happens on crouching characters. If they're standing, I almost guarantee heavy kick Tatsu will almost always hit. Ange actually says in the chat, so medium punch, Tatsu. And then also test it out. Find out if it's certain characters or something like that. Every time you go to training mode with Ryu, always make your dummy random select. Try to random select your dummy so that you don't always end up fighting the same guys, because you'll find out weird things, character-specific things between characters, and that's kind of important as well. So, but yeah, just try it out and see how it works. So. Okay, let's keep going. Okay, fireball. Okay, he's being aggressive. Again, I like that, but now Zangief went with the charge, and I'm pretty sure Ange hit a button on the ground, so that's just something you have to be careful of. Maybe he tried to hit him beforehand. Let's see, what did... Ange looks like he was hitting a button. Yeah, he was trying to hit something on the ground. Unfortunately, it just didn't come out fast enough. In those kind of situations, blocking might be the better thing to do, or going for an EX uppercut or something like that. It's basically same thing as beating a focus in Street Fighter 4. Almost the exact same kind of situation. That's almost exactly the same kind of situation with the jump attack, and then they focus it. So a lot of times, especially if you see Zangief fierce like that, the thing about it is he can't cancel the fierce into anything else. So if you see him absorb it, it's kind of safe to block because he can't SPD you. The only thing that's going to happen is you're going to block the fierce. But that's just that situation. And here we go. He gets hit. So the opponent goes for the knee into SPD. Okay. So I mentioned last time I probably wouldn't do this. I would go for the button instead. He went for the SPD again. But this was kind of a different situation here. This was a panic situation. Crush counter. Zangief's supposed to walk up and just SPD you. What the heck? He didn't SPD me, and then I got SPD. Okay. But now, because I read that situation like that, knee into SPD has happened twice. So as a Zangief player, I'm going to be thinking to myself, okay, this Ryu player now has seen knee into SPD twice now. So hopefully he'll keep thinking of that. And here we go. Here comes fun Zangief time. Dashes up. Oh, but another wake up EX uppercut. I like it. Now this is the weirdest part to me right here. So I like the EX uppercut. Good EX uppercut here. Again, showing that he's willing to do it. And you know what? If the Zangief's going to get hit by it, he's going to get hit by it. So now if I was Ange in that same situation, I would not EX uppercut the next time. However, then the Zangief is probably like, he won't do it 3 times in a row, and then he'll SPD, then he'll SPD you, and then you'll be mad. Maybe the uppercut would have worked. Welcome to Street Fighter. This is where the mind games is. This is where the 50-50s come in. So at that point, if in the end that's all it's coming down to, if it's coming down to who's making the right read in all the situations, and you're like laughing like, haha, 50-50 fighter, haha, like, dude, that's Street Fighter. Like, that is Street Fighter. That's what Street Fighter 2 has been. That's what Street Fighter 3 has been. Less of Street Fighter 4 because Street Fighter 4 has had the most set play. But Street Fighter 5, dude, every game is that way. Every fighting game is that way. Is that at the highest levels, it really just comes down to who's reading the situation better than the other person. So as while you want to mock it as like a coin flip or RPS fighter or whatever like that, dude, that's fighting games. Like, that's exactly what fighting games are. And it's about trying to guess what your opponent's pattern is. So, I mean, honestly, that to me, that is the essence of Street Fighter. So you can't really make fun of it, because that's what Street Fighter is all about. So, but okay, wake up. And then he gets the crush counter sweep here, which is funny. I don't know why he went for crush counter sweep, and if you look at the inputs, it looks like he might have tried to do dash up Tatsu, maybe to bait out the SPD, because like, you see, it's like down, down, back, back, and then heavy kick, but he hit heavy kick too early. And so maybe he was trying to do a meaty Tatsu. I'm not 100% sure, but he got the crush counter. And again, go into training mode, practice your crush counter setups, because it is the only time in the game that you're going to have a guaranteed knockdown situation out of the rare EX uppercut V-trigger cancel. But like, crush counter sweeps gives you a fixed situation, and in this game, thanks to input buffers, you can almost guarantee a perfect setup afterwards. So again, I don't know what Ryu's perfect setup is, but you can probably find some resources online, or find a good player, like a good Ryu player like Vi or somebody, and just ask them what they do on crush counter sweeps. So here we go. So back roundhouse meaty. We've seen Ange do that before. It's a good option. It's safe. And Zangief has to hold that. So I don't mind that at all. Trying to get Zangief to do something on his wake up. Didn't cancel it into Fireball because it wouldn't have been safe in the corner, so I like that. Just gets jabbed afterwards because it is Zangief's turn, and I believe Ryu is punishable in that situation. No, I think he's like -2. Well, let's check the frame assistant tool, shall we? Frame assistant tool. Let's check out Ryu. Back heavy kick, axe kick is -2 on block. So yeah, so it is actually Zangief's turn. So Ange tried to hit a button and he got counter hit, but it was only a low jab and that's it. So now he's walking away, so he's fine. So now, okay, neutral jump, that was pretty good. I like the neutral jump there. Again, defensive, it's a good tactic against Zangief sometimes. Very sparingly though, very sparingly. Stand on house block, try to get away. Okay, now he's established the distance, and that was nice. He even saw that Zangief was whiffing the fear, so he went for the fireball. Now Ryu has reestablished the neutral game, this neutral game that he wants to play. And he's baiting the Zangief into trying to fight the fireballs, and I like that. I like that he's doing that, and he's staggering his fireball timing really well. So one of Ange's strengths is definitely the fireball game, because in all the games we've seen, he really hasn't gotten his fireball jumped over and punished all that much. And I don't even know if we've seen it ever, actually. So his fireball timing is really good, so I really like that so far. Again, the neutral jumps, but then a bad sweep. But again, not a bad punish. And this was another, again, like I feel like maybe in all these matches, it was really only 2 mistakes that he made. Activates V trigger here. This might just be character unfamiliarity, or maybe he was scared that Zangief was going to go for an SPD here, so he just YOLO'd it and went for the uppercut. Yeah, it's hard to say. Like, if I was Zangief, I probably would have tried the SPD there. And so if he did the uppercut, maybe that would have worked. It's hard to say. This was kind of a scramble situation here. And there it is. He's going to whip that uppercut. Boom, crush counter. So last time he hit a button, oh, he's going to do it again. So he's going to do it again. So he's going to keep going with that button. It's the same mix-up he did last time. So it worked this time again. He gets the hit here. Jab. And then this is unfortunate. This whole situation is really unfortunate here. That's not a combo. Low jab into suction is not a combo. And I don't know if Murky saw that he got suctioned and got hit by it, and that's why he comboed into critical art, because that was definitely the right thing to do. And he's gonna lose because of that, and all because of the fact that maybe Ange just hit a button. No, he walked forward. He actually just walked forward and got caught by the suction. He didn't even hit a button. I just think that Ange was trying to punish it or something like that. He let go of block, he got suctioned, and then that's just going to be it right there. Ugh. There you go. So that's just an unfortunate situation. But again, honestly, the thing that I want to emphasize really is that I don't feel like Ange was doing anything particularly wrong in that matchup. It's just Zangief will do more damage than you. And in those situations like that, one mistake can lead to a ton of damage. And that's just the nature of fighting Zangief. And what am I trying to say here? So basically, you really, against a character like Zangief, it starts to become pot odds. I always make an analogy to poker. You know, they talk about pot odds that, you know, if you're a cash player, if it's not a tournament player, if you're a cash player, like let's say you want to go all in on something because you're pretty sure you know what your opponent's cards have, and you get sucked out on. The guy draws out and sucks out on you and you lose. But over the length of time, if you go in, like if you know that the amount of money you have that you're putting in there, like I don't know exactly how pot odds work, but like the concept of it is that you put money in that situation every time because the odds still favor you. So even if you get sucked out on once, most of the time you're gonna win, right? So if most of the time you're gonna win, over time you're basically going to win that situation, right? So the risk is worth taking because most of the time you'll come out on top of that situation. Instead of winning money, let's think about winning damage here, right? Let's talk about winning damage. So in fighting games, you want to kind of do pot odds like that. That's why jumping is so effective in this game, right? So you could be the guy who's jumping in and the opponent's going to, quote, suck out on you and uppercut you and stuff like that, right? But you know what? It doesn't matter because every time you get uppercut, you lose a tiny bit of damage. But if you get the jump in there, you get to do this chunk of damage and you get all this momentum off of it, right? So you're willing to take that risk multiple times because in the end, in the course of one game, the amount of damage you might take from 4 uppercuts is not bigger than the one time that you do get in and actually get the jump in combo. It's not a great analogy. I apologize. In fact, it's kind of a shitty analogy, but I hope it makes a little bit of sense. But basically, you know, if you feel like you try it enough and you come out on top because of the one time you snuck in there, it's worth doing. So that's how Zangiefs are going to play. That's their mindset. Zangiefs are banking on the fact that they can get hit by a bunch of stuff and still make it in there and win. So when you play against a Zangief, like in that situation where you saw Zangief jump in and you V-triggered on the ground and you saw him in the air, you think to yourself, if I uppercut and he doesn't touch a button, I'm losing this chunk of life. And if he does hit roundhouse, I'm doing this much damage. So is this something I want to risk? Is this something I want to try? You calculate the pot odds basically, and you're probably like, probably no. If you're fighting against Dhalsim and he's like floating here, you're probably like, yeah, I'm going to do it. I'm going to uppercut. Because if you uppercut and you whiff, Dhalsim's going to walk up to you and like, fierce. And like, you're going to be like, ooh, don't hurt me, Dhalsim, you know, like, so you kind of calculate it in that way. Yeah, there is the pressure post anti-air, but it's not great for a lot of characters. Most characters, after they get the uppercut, they don't get much afterwards. Ryu, at best, gets like a meaty fireball. If Cammy uppercuts you, unless she's in the corner, she basically gets nothing off of that. So, especially if the opponent quick rises every time or back rolls. You really don't get that much pressure off of most anti-airs, to be honest with you. So, that's the thing, right? So in those kind of situations, when Zangief was in the air and he activated that V-trigger, Ange probably shouldn't have uppercut. But the reason why I'm really glad he gave me this match is that, honestly, I don't feel like Ange really did poorly. It's just that Zangief was winning the pot odds kind of situation, and it looks bad in like this. But I have the feeling if they had kept playing a few games, if it was a set and they kept going a little bit, it probably would not have been as lopsided. Like, I feel like Ange probably would have won a couple of games. That's the problem with the nature of ranked matches. You only get 2 out of 3 at best. But, you know, I don't think particularly that he did anything super wrong in that match. And sometimes you lose. Sometimes you lose without making any big mistakes. But like I said, that's the nature of the game. That's why I say it's really important to recognize your successful failures. You lost the game, but you can't be mad at yourself. You can't be too salty if it was just one of those games where the opponent had the right read in most of the situations and you lost from that. Like, don't walk away from those matches being like, man, I suck. Why can't I win? Or, oh, this character's so cheap. Whatever like that. Just find the things that you did right. Take solace that you really died because you made one mistake, and try not to make that mistake again. You know, be willing to make smaller mistakes. If you whiff a button at too far a range and Zangief punishes you by sweeping you, you quick rise and you get up and you're fine. So that's a small mistake. You're willing to make that mistake. There's that pot odds thing again, because you're just not going to get hit. But if you're going to go whiffing uppercuts like that, you're going to lose like 50% of your life, and then give Zangief all this pressure situation post SPD, and so post EX Air SPD or something like that. And so those are not good pot odds. So if you can learn to minimize the potential payout of your mistakes, and then also, you know, just not beat yourself up over those kind of losses, it really does help you grow as a player to be able to just understand, well, okay, that happened. And that's why a lot of times on commentary, you'll also hear me and David, like when you lose to Mika in Season 1, or you lose to Seth in Street Fighter 4 and the opponent gets a perfect on you, we're like, you can't even be mad about that, because that's just the character. That just happens. Sometimes they have 3 correct reads in a row and you die. And you know what? Like, then you just go, good job, let's move on. I don't care that you perfected me, because it's not even anything to be mad about, right? So you just got to put it behind you. And that's why we say that a lot on commentary, because it's a very important concept to understand. Sometimes when you lose, it's not really... And yeah, Ange is even saying himself, never complains about a character being cheap. He blames himself and beats himself up too much. And yeah, that's what I'm trying to tell Ange right now. You can't beat yourself up too much unless it's something that is correctable. Like, for example, I beat myself up for not anti-airing all the time, but that's something that I feel like I can correct. And I feel like that's just a bad habit of mine. So I don't feel like it. So to be honest with you, Ange, like after watching these 3 matches, I would actually say you're on the right track. I would say you're in a good place right now. You just need to shore up a couple of holes in your game and start maximizing damage a little bit, understanding what combos to use in given situations, and just start planning ahead. Start doing the research now. Now is the time for lab work. I feel like you understand a lot of stuff. Now is the time for lab work. Now figure out what to do off of crush, counter, sweep. Find the safe jump setups off of that, or go find somebody else who knows the safe jumps. Practice jumping over Chun-Li Fireball at the beginning of the round and see what combos work on her in situations. Get good at crush counter combos against whiffed uppercuts, etc., etc. Now is the time for labbing. And that will start maximizing a lot of the stuff that you're doing, and those little bits of differences will add up, and you will start winning more matches at this point. So, like I said, I feel like you're on the right track. I feel like you're playing well, and now it's time to take it to another level by maximizing the results of your correct reads and your correct guesses and stuff like that. So, Ange says that his lab execution work is not good. If you want Ange, again, this is another shameless plug for myself, youtube.com/UltraChenTV. I have a whole YouTube series on how to use training mode. I believe it's episode 5.2 of First Attack, and I talk about all these ways that you can use training mode and how to take advantage of a lot of the options. It really goes from beginner to advanced, so some of the stuff is really obvious, but I do talk about how you can use that to train yourself and to do a lot of things. So definitely take a look at that, see if that inspires you with any ideas of how to use some lab work there. So drawing for dummies. Drawing for dummies. Woo! Drawing for dummies asks, do you think a character who can get perfects is often is good game design? Oh, okay. Yeah, no problem, Ange. Yeah, feel free to watch them again and sit there and listen to me drone on again. If you get sick of my voice, I do apologize. Do I think a character who gets perfects is good game design? Yeah, it's fine. It's a glass cannon character. It's a glass cannon character as long as... So the way that you balance it out is that if the character's reads are very punishable, and that's the scary part right there. If the character is designed in a way that even if they screw up the pot odds, basically, right? If their successful reads always lead to 25% damage and your successful reads always lead to 15% damage, that is a badly designed character. They have to make sure that the reads kind of balance out so that if you seriously do random generation, that it balances out in the end. Or that if their read is so much better, so let's say their read is that they get 25% and you get 15%, then you have to make sure that the situation for them to set up that mix-up is harder to come by. So it's really complicated. It's really, really, really complicated. Balancing characters is super hard. I do not envy Capcom or any fighting game developer because balancing characters is super hard. There's so many factors to it. But yeah, a character who can get perfects a lot can absolutely be just a fine game design. And they do that a lot with glass cannons. They really do that a lot with characters who just take huge gobs amount of damage. So... Hey, Ange actually says that he likes that my videos are long and that I ramble because it gives him more time to think about stuff. So there you go. My rambling is good. Yes, my rambling is good. But there you go, guys. That was it for today. Thanks. Thank you, Buttwagon, for the follow. But I say but so much that I could fill up a whole wagon full of those. I hope you guys did enjoy this. I hope it has been helpful to everyone, not just Ange, but everybody. I really do hope that people enjoyed this, and I hope people find that helpful. And again, I can analyze your videos. I would love to do that. Any levels of play is accepted. Any game is accepted. Again, your mileage may vary depending on the game, but I can definitely try. my best to help even with games that I am unfamiliar with. If I can't do it, I'll try to pull on Jam for like a KI, or I'll pull on Tasty Steve for a Tekken, or I'll pull on David for an MK or something like that. But hope this is helpful. Hope you guys like this. And again, I can, if you pledge to our Patreon, currently it's set to $12. If you pledge over $12, 12 or more, we will analyze a video for you. There's a $25 amount as well, but 12 is all you'll need, and I'll be able to do that. 25 is fine if you want to support. I'll be more than happy with that. But if you guys want to support me, again, subscribe here to UltraChenTV. You can use the Twitch Prime subscription as well. Also, donation links at the bottom there. You see ultrachentv.com/donate. There's also a https twitch.streamlabs.com/jchensor. That is if you want to donate directly to me specifically, because otherwise the UltraChenTV money is, for all of us. It benefits all of us and everything like that, and helps us improve our stream and buys equipment and stuff like that. If you just want to support me and my career as a streamer/commentator, you can donate directly to me that way. There's also a PayPal link at the bottom of this, under the video page of this of twitch.tv/UltraChenTV, that you can donate directly there. You can also subscribe to us. The more subscribers we get, the more emotes we can make, etc., etc. So that's the episode 2 for the Mind's Eye. And as I mentioned, I'm down with any game, any difficulty levels, and I hope that this has been helpful, and I really hope that I can keep helping people throughout the year with more episodes of this. And thanks guys for tuning in, and I will talk to you guys later. Peace out. That everyone's animation is Steve, because it's just an awesome animation and I haven't randomized it yet, so there's only one animation there. So Ange actually says, thank you for doing this. It was very helpful. I'm super happy. I'll send you a message on Patreon, and then you can give me a reply, and I can use that like as testimonials or something. Now it's Ange time says, this was super helpful. So that would be really cool. All right, cool. I'm sorry, Buttwagon. I gotta go, man. So, but yeah, definitely at least follow UltraChenTV. Follow twitch.tv/jchensor as well, because I stream a lot there. I've been doing a lot of Guilty Gear lobbies. I've been playing online myself. I've been doing a lot of live DHC. I have a lot of cool ideas for different series of videos. And if you guys have any suggestions of things that you would like to see me do, feel free to send me a note on Twitter @jchensor. Other than that, thank you for the support. Thank you for watching. Thank you for hanging out. I'll see you guys later. Peace out, everybody.